Hi everybody, this is Michael Brenton Smith. I'm going to give a tutorial on how to use the file manager in the cPanel in your Reclaim hosting account. This is going to allow you to upload your files that you create for your projects throughout the semester. So I'm going to start by just logging in to my Reclaim hosting account. Go to the cPanel. This is the administrative space for your web server. There we go. We want to go to makercommons.org. And that will leave the portal area, and now I can go to the cPanel and we'll see the file manager for now. There's many things in this space, but for now we're just going to focus on the file manager. When we go into the file manager, you can see this really dense set of folders and files that you have access to that are actually on your server. So this is a computer on somewhere on the planet that is serving up files from its hard drive. And the most important one is this one right here, this folder, public_HTML. So your server is running software called Apache. Apache is the web server software. So it's like any application running on a computer, but its specific job is to serve up folders for the World Wide Web so browsers can access them. And public_HTML is the folder in which files are available to be accessed on the World Wide Web through browsers. So we want to go in here, and this is the most important one. And you will see, maybe you have a WordPress installation, maybe you'll see a couple of default files if it's a brand new account. So we're just going to look and notice that these are a variety of folders. I have this happens to be a WordPress install, and then I can go up a level and go right back. This happens to be problem sets from previous semesters, and they're organized, right? And I can go up a level. And so what's important to think about here is we're going to think about this problem sets folder. And so remember, this site, this is the makercommons.org site. So I'm going to go to makercommons.org, okay? And it's opening a page. What page is it opening? Well, it's opening this file. The default file for a folder to open is index.html. It's a special name for a file. If there is no, so if we look at problem sets, this is a folder that has no files in it, just more folders. So if I go directly to that folder, right, problem sets, it's just going to show me the other folders, right? And the thing to really think about it is makercommons.org or yoursite.com, whatever it is the equivalent of accessing public_HTML, right? And then you're drilling down into the directory structure. So if I go back to, Maker Commons, okay, and I go into Design 1, and then I go into another folder, let's say here, and you can see I've now must have opened a default file in index.html. So I went from problem sets folder to design 1 to 07 advanced flexbox. So if we look, we can think problem sets folder, design 1, flexbox, and sure enough, there's an index.html that opened by default. All right. So you can see how, managing folder structures, and you can see I'm just moving up a level, and I can click home and go all the way back to the beginning and start over and go back to public_HTML. But you can see how it's important to recognize that URLs in your domain name, so this is a URL. This is a matter of, and these forward slashes, each is a directory, a folder that I've gone into, and then subfolders inside of the other one. So this is the public_HTML a folder. Inside of that, there's a problem set folder. Inside of problem sets is design 1. And inside of design 1 is this 07 advanced CSS flexbox folder. And inside of there was an index.html file that just opened by default. So if I erase a directory, I will see what's inside of there. And you can see there's all the folders. And I could go into a different one, right? Oh, that's a zip file, so that downloaded. So I can go into a different folder And since there's no index.html file, nothing opens by default, but I can click on the HTML file and then it opens, all right? And so this way you get to see like, hey, this is the file that's open, okay? But again, think of this as public underscore HTML, and inside of public underscore HTML, there's a problem sets folder, a design one folder, then a folder inside of that, and then we can open this file. So if we back all the way up and we don't see folders, what must be open? An index.html file. That was the default file within the public underscore HTML. So within public underscore HTML, there must be an index.html file. And sure enough, in public underscore HTML, there's that index.html file. So that's the connection I'm hoping you will make between how files and folders are organized within your site, okay, and your domain name URL, okay? So how do we get files like this up on the site? So at any time, I'm going to delete these. I did this demo earlier, so I'm going to delete this zip file. And if you have no reason to save things, you should skip trash and confirm. I'm going to delete this folder and confirm, all right? And sometimes with the Mac, it makes these unnecessary directories, and we're going to delete this one as well. Okay, so I have this set of files that I created for an earlier tutorial, really simple. We have this web design 1 folder. Inside of there, there are 2 folders, all right? The 00 week and the 01 week folders. And inside the 00 week, we have test.js.html and CSS. And in the images folder, we even have this little puppy JPEG, right? So all of these exist in this nicely organized system in Web Design 1. And if you remember, we can look at that. And so on the desktop, I have this Web Design 1 folder, which you can see, I'm just going to show it from this perspective. Inside of there, there's 001. So exactly what I'm seeing in Visual Studio Code. And we looked at how to create folders and files from within Visual Studio Code and how important it is to make sure whenever we're working on a project that we work from an open folder, all right? So I have all these and I want to get all of these up onto my server in here. I want to create a Web Design 1 folder. Well, I could create Web Design 1 and suggesting it because I've done it recently. And then in here, I could look back and say, okay, I have to create this folder, 00 and 01. I could create these 2 folders and then go on and then I could upload the files into that 00 week folder. And then inside the 00 week folder, I could make an images folder and then upload the puppy. And so you might be wondering, well, why am I not just uploading the folders? Well, that's because you can't upload directories. Directories or folders are simply a pathway to something. You can't upload them. You can only upload files. And so in order to, you have to make the choice of recreating them, which sounds really frustrating because that would take a lot of time, or you can take advantage of our ability to compress directories, and you can do this on both Mac and Windows. If it's on a Mac, we just hit the Control key and we say compress web design. And if it's on Windows, you will see the send to compress directory. You'll see send to somewhere around here and then compress directory, but I'm going to just compress it here. And I've compressed the file, right? And now it's a zip. You'll see a .zip. And this I can upload to my server. Right, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to get rid of this Web Design 1 folder because I don't need that because it's going to be recreated in just a moment. So I'm going to upload, select upload. I can either navigate for it or I can just drag it over here. And it uploads the file. And you can go back now. And you can see here's that zip file. And the nice thing is now I can extract it. So I select extract, and it says, where do you want to put this? And we're going to say, well, let's put it in public underscore HTML. But if I wanted to, I could move it to say tutorials. You can see I have a tutorials directory, and everything would be extracted into that directory. But for now, we're just going to put it in the root, public underscore HTML. We're going to say extract files. And you can see it created my directory structure, right? It made web design 1, then 01 week. Then it did these silly Mac ones. We'll ignore those. And then it made 00 week. And inside of 00 week, it made the file. It made the images folder. It made the test.html, the CSS. And in the images folder, it put the puppy. All right. So we close. Now all my work that I've created is up here. Okay. And now I can take advantage of, we keep, whoops, we don't need to upload again, up one level. You can think, okay, I'm in public underscore HTML, so that means that's the same thing as my domain name, so I can go to /webdesign1, and you'll see those directories, all right? And if I click on the 0 where there's actual files, and I can click test HTML, and there's my really, really rudimentary HTML I created in a previous tutorial. Okay, so with that working, you might wonder, well, am I going to upload, re-upload web design 1 every time? Oh, and we can get rid of this zip file. We don't need to keep this, and so we can delete this. All right. So you might be wondering, well, let's pretend like I finished 0 week 1. So I'll go in here, and I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to make a couple files like new.html, and we'll just say, new HTML. We'll put an H1 and say new HTML from week 1. And we save this. And so now let's imagine I've made a whole bunch of other files as well, right? I could have the new.css. I'm not going to put anything in any of these, new.js. And these are all done. And I even had a folder like in images, and I put more images in there. And so now this one's done as well. This one I don't need to work on anymore. So I want to just upload this folder. So what I can do is within the web design folder, I can just select that one that I've done the work on, and I will compress just this one. And then I can upload just that particular file inside. So we're in here already. So let's just, for sake of knowing where we're going, you can see web design 1. So I'll go inside web design 1. And right now this is empty, so I'm just going to delete it. All right. But the idea is like, now I want to upload my 01 week. This time I'm just going to select it from the desktop. Find it. There it is. And we can go back. And now I can extract it. And of course, yes, I want it to be in Web Design 1. We extract those files. And you can see it generated the folder, the images folder, and then the 3 files, the new JS, the new HTML, and the new CSS. And so it created my directory structure and saved all the files. And then I can get rid of that zip file because I don't need it anymore. And then we can remember that we go to majorcommons.org, /webdesign1. And now when I go to week 1, you can see here are my files. And so that's how you can manage working with your folders from your project, all right? Make sure you're doing a good job of managing your folders and files, and come up with your organization system. I like numbering things so that they'll be easy to recognize. I like to name them as well, so I remember what the type of work was done in there. So I can say, and maybe you don't even need the word week, but 01 HTML basics, 00 basic tools. So that just helps you remember not just when you made it, but what was done in that particular time frame. So I hope this helps and good luck with your first getting all your tools set up and we'll be coding next week.